And welcome everybody to, I almost said I'll hang up and listen. We've done so many episodes of I'll hang up and listen. Like, it's been a minute since we've actually done an actual podcast, but welcome back everybody to episode 222 of Two Goalies, One Mic, brought to you by Fatty Beer Company, Western New York's premier market and tap room with over 300 beers to choose from at 7 different Western New York locations. If you need a beer, get on over to Fatty Beer. Let them know we sent you over from Two Goalies, One Mic. Shout out to our other sponsor, Extreme Discount Mattresses with Western New York's finest selection of mattresses and adjustable beds featuring the Cool Gel Memory Foam, two-sided mattress, Tele-Latex, organic mattress, Chapman Wells, and of course, Scott Living, all for 1/3 of half the supposed sale prices anywhere. So stop in there are 7 locations across Western New York or check out their website, extrememattress.com. If you're even looking for more savings, check out the new Closeout Center at 1625 Walden Avenue in Cheektowaga, up to 80% off their already low prices. Save a fortune on one-of-a-kinds, closeouts, and floor samples. Get a quality mattress for literally pennies on the dollar. Extreme Discount Mattress. We sell mattresses for less, a lot less. And remember, if you mention you're a fan of Two Goalies, One Mic, you get yourself a free mattress protector with the purchase of any mattress. So make sure you're a fan of the podcast. And last but not least, Impulse Physical Therapy, Western New York, located at 5087 Broadway, Suite 100 in Depew, New York. 5-star facility, 5-star staff. You have a slip and fall at work. You get hurt on the field, hurt on the ice. Maybe you just need some sports testing done, an assessment done. You got a combine coming up. Get over to Impulse Physical Therapy of Western New York. Alex Peters, one of the owners over there, they will absolutely take care of you. If you mention that you heard about them through Two Goalies, I'm like, you get yourself a $77 assessment. And again, you can't go wrong there. It's an incredible facility. They're helping me get back on the ice. Hope to get back on the ice someday with the help of Impulse Physical Therapy of Western New York. Hurls, you obviously you weren't on the podcast on the post-game show last night. I'm going to let you have the floor here to start things off. Your reaction to the Sabres being the Atlantic Division champions, and I want you to admit that I was right when they beat Tampa Bay 8-7 when I said the division was theirs to lose. They were in the driver's seat. Go.
Here we are.
Can't hear you. There you go.
Still maintain that at that point they technically were not in the driver's seat, but I think that what they did down the stretch, especially the past 3 games, allowed them to get back into the driver's seat and control their own destiny. I think that they really turned it on when it mattered, even after the first period last night, which was a little bit sluggish and it looked like they were a little bit stuck in molasses. They really turned it on in the second period, and they eventually blew out a much worse Blackhawks team who's very young and playing for the number 1 overall pick. So I think they've been able to turn on a different gear and get to a different level at multiple points this season when it's mattered most, especially in second and third periods. And I think that's indicative of how this team could play in the playoffs. Obviously, it matters way more. The speed's going to be intensified, the physicality, everything about it. But this team has succeeded largely doing those types of things. You've got a guy like Beck Mallinson who hits everything that moves. You've got Alex Tuck who is seemingly specializing in these stretch passes and receiving them for breakaways like he did for the 3rd goal last night. I think this team plays the style of game that allowed them to turn it on when they needed to win the Atlantic Division, and also which will be successful in the playoffs. So I'm really looking forward to it. Obviously, the past 4 months were insane. They somehow got to 50 wins after starting 11-14-4. It is a remarkable run, which I think will be talked about for a long time. And I think it's really cool. We had the discussion about whether or not they were going to put up a banner for the division title. I think that's all but sealed and shut at this point, that there will be a 20.
How do you not? How do you not?
Say it again.
How do you not put up a banner? Sorry,
no, I'm saying, like, I think that certain people will say, "Oh, like, of course, hang your division banner," but I think the organization and the fans will want to remember this team somehow. Of course, we will in our own memories and clips online, but in the arena, hanging a banner for the division title to commemorate this team, no matter what happens, that will always be there, and everyone will look up at that and remember the team that broke the 14-season playoff drought. So I think that's really, really cool, and I can't wait until they unveil it.
And just like the team that, ends the drought. And first off, I was just talking to somebody at my gym, is like, if I were to tell you that back in September that the Bills wouldn't win the division, but the Sabres would, what would your reaction been, Hurls?
I wouldn't have believed you, and I saw that people talk about that last night, and it's crazy, and it speaks to the unpredictability of sports and why sports betting is so difficult, and why you should bet responsibly, honestly, because you never know. And I think that when you have a collection of some of the best athletes in the world in a variety of different high pressure situations, guys are going to perform in different ways, and that doesn't mean that the Bills didn't. It just, I think, was representative of their schedule, of course, relative to the Patriots having the easiest schedule of all time last season. But the Sabres, especially once they got into last place in the East in early December, expectations were extremely low, both inside that room, not necessarily inside the room, but amongst this fan base and around the NHL. I think everybody, as the Sabres social media admin went through and got receipts today, Ryan Whitney said there was a 0.0000% chance, and now there are 2 billboards in Buffalo showing him saying that exact quote. They've gone through every single receipt, and it speaks to where the zeitgeist of around this team was. Everybody thought that it was just another season of rebuilding, tank for McKenna. We said ourselves at one point, unraveling for Gavin. Like, that was a thing that people talked about, because that's all we knew for the past 14 seasons. And at least 5 or 6 of those very much in contention for the number 1 pick. So when expectations were super low, I think they were able to figure out a way to play a different style of game. And like I said before, a very fast and elongated game, especially the length of the ice. They've had these stretch passes. They've had a different way of opening up the ice surface and getting different types of scoring chances, and it's really worked for them.
I love this comment here from Kevin. It's really funny. Another meaningless game 82 tomorrow night.
Yeah, I saw somebody responded to Mike Shope with that last night, and he got a lot of love for it. So
that's good. I love that.
It's meaningless in a different way. Thankfully, I was discussing with some friends last night that I'm wondering if they're going to sit some guys, especially with it looking like Carolina can wrap up the number 1
seed.
Some
players going for some milestones, I think, tomorrow. I think Darlene is like at 199 for goals, isn't he? Or something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
somebody's at 199 for goals or something like that.
So I don't think the Sabres cannot catch the Hurricane. So it is
they've clinched. They clinched.
Yeah, it's a completely meaningless game. I think we're going to
looks like we're going to get Boston.
Yeah, well, I think they're up 4-0. If they win, are they locked into the number 1 wild card?
I think so. Maybe because somebody. Tuck is at 199 goals. Sorry.
At the Senators have 97, and if the Bruins get to 100, they can't catch them tomorrow. So yeah. If this keeps going, Boston in the first round, which I think we've discussed a little bit. We can get more into it. It's not the easiest matchup in terms of high-end talent with David Pastrnak, Charlie McAvoy, and Jeremy Swayman in goal. But I think the rest of the team falls a little bit short compared to the depth up and down the Sabres lineup, which is crazy to say, but they've displayed that for the past 4 months. So I don't mind the matchup. I think we'll get a good amount of Bruins fans, but I think it would have been very, very similar with Senators and Bruins fans. So I'm completely fine with it.
Yeah. And listen, I think you may have mentioned before, or maybe it wasn't you, I can't remember. The only thing that really scares you about the Boston Bruins is the guy in net, because he does have the ability to steal a series. So yeah, I outside of that, I don't fear Boston at all. They're not the same Bruins team from 5-6 years ago. They don't play with the same snarl that they used to. And honestly, I don't fear Ottawa either, like at all. I think, granted of what you want to say about Luke Shen or Logan Stanley or, the toughness, or Ottawa is always going to play a very strong physical style, especially in the playoffs, especially in the first round of the playoffs. But when you add guys like that to your lineup, you really keep a guy like Brady Tkachuk in check. No doubt about it. And that's the one guy that can make on that team that would make the biggest impact. I don't think Linus Ullmark is the same goalie he used to be, at least when he the same guy he was with Boston. I just don't fear that team. Honestly, the only team I really fear is probably Montreal. and we're not going to. I think it's probably going to be them in Tampa in the first round.
Yeah, and we'll see how the bracket lines up. But yeah, I would agree, and I think you obviously have to key on and worry about David Pastrnak. He makes that entire team go, and he's likely a top 5 to 7 player in the NHL. Morgan Geekie has 38 goals this season. I don't know if he has one of the 4 tonight. Pavel Zacha's a nice player, but it's not the same Boston team that we've become accustomed to. There's no Brad Marchand. There's no Patrice Bergeron. It is not the same guys that we've known from their playoff runs in the past. Of course, it's a historic franchise, and they've had a lot of playoff experience as a franchise, but it is largely a different team. Always got to worry about Middlestat mode. That would be really something if he had an impact in this series after all the time he spent with the Sabres. And he's had a tiny bit of a comeback season, 42 points in 71 games. It's not a bad season for him.
No, not for him, especially where he was coming from.
Yeah, by any means. He was bounced around for a little bit, and I think it was not necessarily a great time for him, but I think he's found a role there. But either way, I think the Sabres are a better team. I think the standings definitely reflect that. And early in the season, those 2 matchups where the Sabres didn't play particularly well and they lost to the Bruins, I don't think that's the same Sabres team that we have now.
No, not at all.
In that matchup over Christmas, I'm going to go back and look at the most recent one, but they were down early and they were able to come back and get a win. So yeah, I feel good about it. And yeah, that atmosphere for games 1 and 2 is going to be insane.
Mm-hmm. So we got a couple comments here. Ellis should start tomorrow with Levi backing him up, or have UPL back him up, but never play him no matter what happens to Ellis and that. I mean, yeah. I think Ellis should play tomorrow, right? Like,
for sure.
Especially given the injury history with Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, you really just don't want to chance it.
No, definitely not. There's no way he's playing. I don't think Tage plays. I don't think Dahlin plays. Tuck probably
Did we get an
doesn't.
update on Lyon yet?
I was listening to the radio on the way to my game last night, and they said that it was just a muscle strain still, and there was a chance that he could be ready by the weekend, ready enough to be the backup. But yeah, they haven't been super specific about it. So UPL's your game 1 starter without a doubt. He's earned it the past 2 months, and hopefully Lyon's able to get back in there and be either a backup or a starter if and when they need it. But having a hot goalie going into the playoffs is one of the most important things you can have, and I think the Sabres absolutely have that in spades right now with Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen.
Yeah, and listen, we know Lindy's not afraid to go at the hot hand too, so I think getting Lyon healthy, and I mean, it's quite the predicament for the Sabres with this 3 goalie rotation, especially with how well Ellis played in that last start. Now, does that mean Ellis is your backup in the playoffs only if Lyon can't go?
Yeah, for sure.
He's in the press box no matter what. But it is nice. It is a nice luxury to have all 3 of those guys playing at the level they're playing at right now. If you were to, it's actually kind of crazy, like how deep we are in net right now, Hurls.
Yeah, and everyone that complained about the 3 goalie rotation, I think, has had to eat their words a little bit, especially with injuries to all 3 guys. It's really come in handy, and another move that Kevin Adams likely had a huge part in that had a major impact on this team. Either way, doesn't matter. Nice to have depth in every part of your lineup. I think they have that absolutely on defense. They obviously are dealing with some injuries. I heard that Noah Ostlund would be just a pain management type situation for the playoffs.
Sounds like it, yeah.
So hopefully that means he's back in the lineup on whether it's Saturday or Sunday. I'm hearing it could be Saturday, potentially Saturday night, 8 p.m. East Coast time. Don't know that for sure. Heard that from multiple people, but I think things can change on a dime with the NHL schedule makers. So whenever it is, I think that there's a good chance Noah Ostlund will be back. Doesn't look like we're going to get Sam Carrick, unfortunately, but hopefully that means,
in the second round.
Yeah, he would be ready for a potential second round series. So yeah, I feel good about it. And I've actually, I don't know if the numbers support it, but even last night, I like Jordan Greenway's game, at least down low on the forecheck, the big physical presence. We know he's a really good penalty killer. We know he stands up for his guys. I think he is the type of player that could raise his game significantly in the playoffs in those high intensity physical type atmospheres. I think if you're looking for a Sam Carrick replacement, obviously he's not a center, but in terms of physicality and standing up for guys, I think Jordan Greenway could be that guy.
Yeah, I agree. Like the bottom six depth is something to. It all depends on when Sam Carrick is back. But you have Dune, who is probably itching to get back in this lineup, who has been a very good player for them for the most part all season. Like I've never had a time where I've looked at Dune and be like, wow, man, like he shouldn't be in the lineup. Like he's definitely served a purpose every time he's played. We'll get Oslam back when this pain management thing is done with. I imagine probably, hopefully for game one. I don't know what's going on with Justin Danforth, but I know they thought so highly of him going into the season. Obviously, such a bummer with the injury he had with the kneecap. But like the bottom six depth is also incredible, and having the ability to flex Peyton Krebs in out of those positions is great too. Are you kidding me now? Thank you for the super chat. Couple clicks to you. Feel alarmingly unconcerned about the goalie situation. How can we live at this speed? Again, it's a luxury that maybe no other team in the league has right now going into the playoffs. How good all three of our goaltenders have been.
Yeah, especially with the Islanders now out of it, with Sorokin not in the mix. I feel as good as probably any fan base does. I agree about where our goalie situation right now, and that starts at the top. UPL clearly got healthy over the Olympic break, and he got his mind and his body into the right place, and he has performed so unbelievably admirably in the past couple months. Even last night, he made that coming off a shorthanded goal to begin the game on a breakaway to make some big saves to keep them in the game and allow them to get the lead last night in a division clinching type situation. I think he has had enough experience at this point. I think he's showed spouts of consistency, but the only consistency that matters right now in this moment leading into the playoffs is what we've seen recently. And his confidence, I believe, is probably at the highest as it's been in his career, especially knowing that it is his net to start the playoffs. And I think having that confidence that it's his net will propel him to perform. He has all the physical tools. We've known that for a long time, but putting it together for long stretches of time has been the issue. And the only stretch of time right now that matters is these past 2 months, and we've seen it from him. So it's been really cool to see, and I feel great about him being the starting goalie going into the playoffs right now.
Oh, for sure. And again, just having the dynamic of just having the Lion King waiting in the wings in case something goes wrong or he seems to falter. A guy that you can literally just like without hesitation go to him and be like, "Yep, we're good. We got that guy." He's been so rock solid. I mean, you can count on one hand the entire season the amount of games where you questioned Alex Lyon's play. Like you really can. 220-win goaltenders. And then Colton Ellis, he's had his ups and his downs, but Ellis Island just standing tall. It's a huge luxury that we haven't had before. And it's super cool to talk about that position in such a positive light.
I mean, it's not Ryan Miller and Dominic Hasek level, but what possibly could be. And I think the Sabres fans we've been spoiled with goalies throughout our existence, basically. Not recently, of course, but having Dominic Hasek and having Ryan Miller backstop 2 playoff runs. Of course, they couldn't do it themselves, and I think they needed a little bit more help to get over the top. But having the depth and also the high-end talent is really, really cool. And I think we all know that goaltending matters the most. Jeremy Swayman's a great goalie. He's very, very composed in his net. His positioning is sound. He can make really athletic saves when he needs to. He can just be in the right spot, controls his rebounds really well. It is not the most ideal goalie matchup, but I would say that this is bound to happen in the playoffs. You're going to face really good goalies, probably in every single round. I would say Andrei Vasilevsky would have been a worse matchup given how well he's performed in the playoffs and the team in front of him. But it's going to be tough. I just think that they're going to need to do the things that they've made them successful for so long now, especially at 5-on-5. taking advantage of those stretch passes, getting those odd man rushes, playing well in transition, playing with speed, getting pucks deep, and obviously tips, rebounds wherever possible in front of the net. They've scored in a variety of ways, and they will be able to do that on Swayman if necessary.
Yeah, 100%. When it comes to that matchup with Boston, outside of Swayman, what do you fear most? I mean, it's got to be Pasternak, right?
Yeah,
Like,
for
that's
sure.
The guy. That's the guy.
Definitely Pasternak, and I would say the power play with McAvoy being as hot as he's been recently, especially since the Olympic break. I've had both of them on my fantasy team, and they've backstopped me to a likely championship. And it's because both have been so unbelievably consistent and really, really good on the power play. Kind of the opposite of what we've seen from the Sabres recently, and that's going to be a huge talking point, especially if the power play doesn't become more consistent in the playoffs. That will be the loudest voice amongst fans online. I think we all know that very well. But yeah, Zach is a good player. I think no one expected Morgan Geekie to score 40 goals, but he's right there.
Did he sign a long-term extension with them yet?
I don't know for sure, but
I don't know if he did.
Imagine he would if
right?
He hasn't yet.
He's like top 3 in goals since like the start of the calendar year 2025.
And a guy like Elias Lindholm has been around for a long time, but he's a really good player as well. They've got some young guys on their third and fourth line and some young guys on their defense too. We know that Nikita Zadorov is going to be a menace. He is going to be in every single scrum. He's going to try to get under guys' skin. He's going to play the way that he always does. But especially in the playoffs, you cannot feed into it. You can't take an unnecessary penalty. But up and down the lineup, I like our talent. I like our depth. And there's a reason that the Sabres won the division and the Bruins will be in the wild card. It's because, especially in the past 4 months, they've outperformed them in every single facet.
Do you think this team gets the power play figured out, whether it's Lindy or Seth Apper? Like, I don't know what has to be done, man, but like they really, really need to get that power play figured out heading into game 1.
I'd hope so. I think it's probably a little bit too late to bring a specialist in, but hopefully a new set of eyes within the building, whether those are the video coaches, different assistant coaches, maybe even the defensive coaches, seeing what other teams are doing to stop what is a lot of talent on the Sabres power play. It's arguably more talent than even the Bruins have on theirs. I would take Tage Thompson and Rasmus Dahlin over David Pasternak and Charlie McAvoy. Maybe that's a little bit biased, and it's probably super close. I don't know what a unbiased fan would say, but it's either way, it's close, and that's saying something about how much talent the Sabres have. So I really hope they try something new, especially with their entries, because right now they are banging their head against the wall, trying the same thing over and over again, and it is not leading to controlled entries or puck possession as consistently as they want. They've got to try something different.
Who do you match up versus Pasta? Like, it's got honestly, I think Malenstein. I think the guy has the speed to keep up with him. He has the tenacity. He has, he's not afraid to be physical. He can get under your skin. He blocks shots. He's not afraid of anything. I think it's got to be Malenstein.
I think he could be out there for sure. I think McLeod has been really responsible defensively in his own zone. I think that a variety of different guys can match up with him if they need to. I wouldn't put it past the top 2 lines either. I think they play with a lot of speed, not as much physicality, but as long as you're on him and aware of him wherever he is on the ice at all times, especially in the slot, getting stick lifts, sticks in lanes, whatever you need to do, especially the type of goal that he scored a few weeks ago, right in front of the net. They got to do whatever they possibly can to take away his time and space as much as possible and let somebody else beat you. That's kind of what it is at this point. You do not want to be beat by their best player, a superstar, and I'm sure, will have a very specific game plan for him. But yeah, I don't mind Malenstein. I don't mind Ryan McLeod to start. And then if it needs to be a by committee approach, it will be.
And if you shut down Pasta, or if you can find a way, and again, just saying that out loud just seems so like unlikely. But if you can find a way to shut that guy down, I mean, that series is yours to win. There's nobody else on that team outside of maybe Jeremy Swayman that can beat you. And to realistically, given the way he has kind of played in high pressure situations in the past, I don't know if he can do it.
Yeah, he's going to get his. Obviously, he's a world-class player. But I would say it's just as important to
I'm
prevent.
talking about Swayman in high pressures, not Pasta.
Oh
Swayman.
yeah, I mean in
He
both of them
struggled
too.
in those situations.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that I would like to see all of his playoff stats, but yeah, it's a different ball game. We've seen Connor Hellebuck, who a lot of people think is the best goalie in the world, play in the playoffs, and leading up to the Olympics was never at his best. And I think he silenced some of the doubters. So past performance isn't always indicative of future performance, but yeah, I think the Bruins probably feel relatively confident with him. But even with Pasternak relative to the rest of the forward group, he's got 32 more points going into tonight than the second most point getter on the Bruins, which is Morgan Geekie. Geekie's got 9 more goals and the most goals on the team with 38. So shutting him down in scoring areas is probably a really good indication of how this series is going to go, because he's scored the majority of their goals in important situations. So I think keying on him, especially in the slot in the house area, is really important.
100%. I don't know, like Tage hitting 40. I think is that his third time hitting 40 goals of his career? I think it is, right? It's third.
Yeah, I think so.
Third. Alex Tuch, I think he sits right now at 32 goals, almost at sitting at 199 career goals. Dahlin 1 goal away from 20 on the season. I mean, we saw Chris Pronger giving Dahlin a lot of love for, he's Dahlin is his top Norris candidate. Same thing with Elliot Friedman. I don't know, man. Like a lot of milestones for for core players on this team, but like, I don't know, man. I feel there's so many players on this team that are going to step up in high pressure situations for the Sabres in round 1, man. Like it's outside of health, there's something we don't know about. We are going into the playoffs with a relatively very healthy roster from the outside looking in. We don't know everything, but I don't know, man. Like this is a scary fucking hockey team going into the playoffs. And I think it's going to really be very contingent on the goaltending, if they can get the consistent goaltending, because from a defensive standpoint, there's nothing, in my opinion, to be all that worried about. The penalty kill, special teams, obviously the power play has really struggled. They hope they get that back on track, but I really do think that I'm going to call it. If they play Boston, I'm going to call it. They're going to win in 5. Awful wins in 5.
Whew, yeah, I think it's possible for sure, given the disparity, especially in points. If you just look at the primary statistic between these two teams, I don't think it's out of the question. I think probably the betting odds would have Sabres in 6 is the most likely possibility, I would say, because 5 doesn't happen all that often in the NHL playoffs. There's a lot of parity, and there has been for a long time. And lower seeded teams, let's say if this was the 1 versus 8 format, the Sabres would be 2 and the Bruins would be 6. So not your typical 2-7, but I would say, yeah, 6 is probably the most likely, but I could see it in 5 for sure. I don't necessarily envision a sweep, and I don't know how good they've been.
I mean, they'll get 1. I think they win in 5.
They've been 20.
I genuinely do.
28, 11-1 at home this season. So a very, very good team at home. 16, 16-9 on the road. So not nearly as good on the road. But yeah, I could see 5 for sure. I would say more likely 6, but yeah, anything can happen in the playoffs.
I kind of lost my train of thought there for a minute before I brought that last point, but like just like the level Dahlin is playing at right now, Norris level, Tage is really starting to turn it up. I mean, Jack Quinn's been streaky. That's a guy that I think if he can catch lightning in a bottle here in the playoffs, that makes the Sabres like so much more dangerous. If that guy can really get going with his shot in his hands when he finds open ice, how dangerous of a player Jack Quinn can be. Alex Tuch has really started to turn it up too. Like everything just seems to be really clicking for Buffalo at the right time right now. Is it really foolish to think, Hurls, that the Sabres should be a favorite to make it to the conference finals?
Along with Carolina? No, because they're the number 2 seed in the conference. I would say that it would be foolish if they weren't.
I don't know if Sabres are getting the proper respect.
Probably not. And I would say that's very much related to the fact that they have this. A lot of these guys haven't played in the playoffs, but if you're looking at it for this season, yeah, they absolutely should be, especially the past 4 months. The hottest team in the NHL not being favored, or one of the two favorites in the conference to get to the Eastern Conference Final, is kind of absurd. But yeah, I think the betting markets and even the cup odds reflect a young team that hasn't had much playoff experience aside from Jason Zucker and Bo Byram and a few other guys. But I would say that, yeah, it's very much related to that. And I don't think these guys care. They have been in a playoff mindset since the end of November, early December. And they had a little lull for 7 games there once they had gone on that run. And I think they played so many games in so many days, and it started to reflect that. But they've come back around and they've picked up their game when they've needed to. So yeah, I wouldn't count them out. I absolutely would not.
Your thoughts, a couple comments in the chat right now, and I was pretty vocal about it on social media the past couple of days. Obviously, you know, when game 1 gets closer, ticket prices will go down. But your thoughts on, one, the fact that at 10:01 the other day that there were 25,000 people in a virtual waiting room waiting for tickets. Not sure how many people are bots, how many people, like, who knows how many of those people were actually real people. Like, I know for a fact there were some Montreal fans in there buying up Sabres tickets in hopes that they would, be able to get tickets on the off chance they played Buffalo in the first round. And realistically, if they did buy tickets, you can just sell them if you know not playing Montreal. It wouldn't have been that big of a deal. You could easily just sell those on the second market. But your thoughts on the cost of second on the resale market right now, because it is absolutely obnoxious. And it kind of pushed me and Greg to, finally kind of like, bite the bullet, and we got season tickets. We confirmed it yesterday with our ticket rep that we had talked to for a couple of days. That actually started, that conversation started on the way to New York City for the Sabres Rangers game, continued on the way back, and then finally we decided to just go for it yesterday for playoff tickets. So your thoughts on the resale market right now for Sabres tickets? I know some people expected it to be expensive, but that expensive, and people like inflating the price almost by 1,000% compared to what they paid for their tickets originally.
Yeah, I don't, especially season ticket holders that have been loyal for as long as they have, for 14 plus years through the drought. I don't blame them at all for trying to make some of their money back and capitalize on
$600 a ticket in
a
the
free market
level though.
Yeah, but like it is a free market economy, right? Like you can post that, not necessarily expecting to get it, right?
I guess.
Yeah. So I think like you can drive the market up, drive the price up. Like there's a clear supply and demand thing. There's 20,000 seats in the arena, less than 20,000 seats in the arena, and I would imagine over 100,000 people, maybe more, want to be in that arena. So this is a very tough situation, especially considering the circumstances of the first time in 15 years. So yeah, I didn't expect it to be this crazy, but it speaks to the momentum around the team. I don't necessarily think this is even a Sabres thing. Like that queue yesterday on Ticketmaster, I have a lot of friends who get in these queues for concert tickets, and it's a nightmare. They do not understand what the demand is, and what even if they are bots, you can't prove that, but that's probably what happened, especially with the amount of people that were already in that queue as soon as you signed on. I heard there was like a waiting room beforehand. I don't know. Either way,
I got in at 10:01 and I was number 25,000.
Yeah. And I got in right at 7 a.m. my time, and I was 21,000. So yeah, it's nuts. And even if I was 5,000, the amount of tickets, the limited amount of tickets that would have been available would have been gone already. So it's, yeah, not a great system. I don't necessarily think it's on the Sabres, because I think they're doing what they can to get as many people in the building as possible. I think there's something to be said about a ticket not being able to be resold at a certain percentage of what the face value is. I think that goes for not only sporting events, but for concert tickets as well.
Yeah.
What's it called? I'm going to a Bleachers concert in, I think, end of June in Canandaigua, and Bleachers sold all their tickets to their tour themselves. And they said, if you see, these are the prices, and if you see them being resold by anybody else, that means they're not coming from us. They've actively tried to get around the resellers and all these people that are trying to capitalize. So I don't know. It is crazy, but I can't blame people for exercising their free will, right?
No.
Like it is what it is. Like, it's not something I would do, but everybody has the choice, and nobody's engaging in criminal activity. Like, this is just what happens.
I think it's absurd, and I don't want to hear anybody complaining that there is an insane amount of Bruins fans in the crowd because you decided to go online, go on StubHub and sell your tickets. So I don't want to hear people complain. You know, home ice advantage is supposed to be home ice advantage, and I still think it will be. But thank God we're not playing Montreal in the first round, because you and I both know they'll pay $600 for the last row of the 300 level without hesitation,
which is crazy to me. But good for those.
That's
people.
What they pay. I mean, they pay more than that. In at the Bell Center in Montreal, it's true.
It must be a society full of middle to upper class people exclusively. I mean, it's crazy to me, but yeah, more power to these people. It is what it is. Like, I don't feel any type of anger. I think it's just a very unique event at a very particular time, and it is one of the biggest events in the history of the city. So this was probably going to happen anyway. It just sucks that people that have waited for such a long time likely will be priced out of it.
And listen, I understand it. You want to make some of your money back, but I just don't think you should be inflating your prices by like 1,000% of what you paid. It's insane to me. But again, I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's not for me to say. I will say there were a lot of complaints, including in our group chat, with how the Sabres handled initially offering the tickets to the public, how they offered extra tickets to season ticket holders. Like my buddy Mike Flatley in our chat, him and his family have held on to those tickets for almost 30 years where they sit. They've been in there since day one, I think pre-Marie Midland days when they were in the odd. And like people who have been a season ticket holder for 1 year, like took precedence and priority apparently over him, which I thought that was insane. But one thing that did irritate me in my already short experience with this is, and I'll keep this short because I want to get to the announcement we're about to make, is that I was quoted a price for playoff tickets. Me and Greg were quoted a price for playoff tickets. We're like, okay, that's great. We're sitting in the 300s, whatever, but that's a fantastic price compared to what's on the market right now. And then in the 45 seconds when we were told that price to when I gave them my credit card and they charged me double than what they told me. And then when I call them out, I'm like, hey, like what's going on here? Like what why am I getting, did you guys charge me for 2 games? He goes, oh no, unfortunately, like the ticket price changed. Like in the 45 seconds that, like when you said this out and then you charged my card, she goes, well, it changed at the beginning of the day. I just didn't notice. And when I asked for accountability, I literally got none. And I'm like, well, can we get like comped parking passes or maybe food vouchers? You got to be able to do something. She goes, no, probably not. We'll like get back to it. Probably not. Like, what? You can't spare a couple slices of pizza? You can't like, what are we doing here? Like, you just charged me double. And the only reason we're even having this conversation is because I noticed you charged me double. Like you knowingly charged me. I don't want to get too deep into it because it's getting me fired up. Greg was fired up about it, but whatever. We're going to game 1. And that's all that matters. I know you'll be there. I'm still out. Have you gotten your tickets yet?
Working on it. I
have a couple options for you. So
okay, cool. Yeah. I am
looking at 2, correct?
Yeah. Looking at the secondary market. I'm talking to everybody that has a functioning brain that has a chance to be there. I've reached out to a lot of different options, but yeah, it feels like it could be miraculous at this point. I will absolutely be in the building for game 2. I've already secured that, but game 1 is still up in the air, but I'm open to any and all options.
All right. Well, like I said, I have a couple of options I think that are on the table for you. Like we'll continue. Actually in our chat, we'll talk about it offline. We don't have to talk about prices and what you're willing to pay. I do want to make a quick announcement. Actually, the shout out the sponsors back out of the way. Shout out again to Fatty Beer Company, Western New York's premier market and tap room with over 300 beers to choose from at It's 300 beers to choose from at 7 different West York locations. If you need a beer, get on over to Fatty Beer. Let them know we sent you from Two Goalies, One Mic. Please keep your eyes and ears open for the Fatty Beer watch party for the first away game. Weather permitting, it's going to be an absolute blast. We're expecting a minimum around 500 people there. Street vendors, food trucks. I believe 26 shirts, maybe setting up a table there. I'm not going to, commit them to that. I've talked to them about it, and hopefully with some of our own designs on it. You guys have seen it. I've showed you a lot of it last night. The new Ellis Island design, which was pretty cool. The Benny the Brat one, and then what we had originally, the first 4 designs. So please make sure you check those out on 26shirts.com. Just go to the collections tab, click friends, and then you'll find the Two Goalies, One Mic store. And again, every purchase you're helping a family in need in the Western New York area. And of course, Impulse Physical Therapy of Western New York. Hey, Western New York, it's time to ditch the physical therapy clinics that treat you like you are just another number and step into a world where you are at the center of your care. Impulse is owned by Buffalo's only board-certified sports physical therapist. We work one-on-one using science-backed technology like 3D motion analysis and force plates. So to help you exceed your goals and become the healthiest, strongest versions of yourself. So come experience the Impulse difference today and mention this for a discounted $77 assessment visit. And of course, Extreme Discount Mattress, Western New York's finest selection of mattresses and adjustable beds. They have 7 different Western New York locations. You can find them at extrememattress.com. That is Extreme with an X. They have a new closeout center at 1625 Walden Avenue in Cheektowaga, up to 80% off their already low prices on one-of-a-kind closeouts and floor samples. You get equality mattresses for literally pennies on the dollar. Extreme Discount Mattress. We sell mattresses for less, a lot less. I remember you mentioned Two Goalies One Mic. You get yourself a free mattress protector with any purchase of a mattress by Extreme Discount Mattress. Now, Hurls, I mentioned to you, we have a fun activity. I'm just announcing the activity. I think I may have talked to you about it before, but I thought it'd be fun given like the March Madness tournament just ended. Who won, by the way? I don't follow college basketball. Who? You're muted. Can't hear you.
Michigan.
So yeah, congrats to them. But we are going to be doing in collaboration with the Charging Buffalo and the Sabre Report and Morning Cup of Hockey with the Daily Face-Off. We are going to be doing a Sabres Drought bracket. We're going to count down. We're going to upload polls every day to Twitter, where you're gonna let you, the fans, vote on your favorite Drought moments. It's other podcast platforms like Trainwreck Sports, they've done, what was it, the Best of Buffalo bracket? Is that what it was called?
Yeah,
they do the best of Buffalo bracket challenge, where they take different pillars of Buffalo, of Western New York, and they pit them against each other. So you get down to one winner. And this is all honestly based off of, as many of you may remember, the Sabres Drought Iceberg, initially brought on by the Sabre Report. Let me bring it up here real quick. It actually is pretty legendary. From the top all the way down to the bottom, obviously your most relevant near the top, and you get down to the bottom. To read off, honestly, some of the maybe we shouldn't do that now until we actually announce the rankings, but both the Sabre Report and the Charging Buffalo have already done their rankings. They've chosen their 16 moments for their division and ranked them 1 through 16. We still have to do ours, and I believe Johnny Lazarus and for the Daily Face-Off and Morning Cup of Hockey, I believe they've already done theirs. Again, super excited to do this. I think it'll be a fun activity to give you guys an idea of. Again, I know that's way too small to read, but that's the graphic we're going with. The best of the worst Drought bracket, kind of a working name in progress. I'm not sure if that's what we're going to call it. Do you like that? Is the best of the worst? Is that good?
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah. Some of them are really funny. They're you go down the list. I'm going to bring up 1 through 16, the Charging Buffalo. At number 1, they have, for their division, they have ranked Butt Goal. Number 2, Scandella traded for a 4th and then flipped for a 2nd. Third ranked, Tim Murray PP quote. 4, Malcolm Subban sings the anthem. 5, roof leaks on fans. 6, Risto for Ellers. 7, I think you like this one, the gravy boat curse. 8, Ennis, Weber, and a second. 9, the Okposo sex tweet. 10, Evander Kane NBA All-Star game. 11, 100 level seat implosion. 12, Leafs brawl with John Scott. 13, this is how we win quote. 14, Enzo sauce. 15, Ron Rolston's gardening gloves. And 16, maintain the family lifestyle, which again, I think that, you know, I'm surprised that's not higher on the list. The Sabre report running 1 through 16. Their number 1 ranked moment, Risto running into the boards. Number 2, between two stalls. Number 3, the log line. 4, the no crossover quote. 5, hashtag free pilot. 6, Kids Day games they always lose. 7, fist bump gate. 8, Pominville in Buffalo Beer League. 9, Ralph Kruger talking to fans at a bar. 10, hashtag bring back Ennis and Foligno. 11, Rochester fans booing Savoy. 12, Middlestat on Chippewa. 13, UPL called out by a TikTok girl. 14, 100 level sweet. We got some crossover there, so we have to, fix that. But they also, for 14, 100 level sleep implosion. 15, Tyson Jost playing first line center and then getting waived the next day. And then 16, the Fanzam slams into the boards and delays the broadcast. Like, some of those I completely forgot about.
Yeah, same. I would have to do some research on some as well, but some good moments there for sure.
For sure. Again, best of the worst. And I'm excited to do this, man. I think it'll be a lot of fun, a lot really good for the engagement. It's really cool to collaborate with some of the more popular podcasts in Western New York, and with a podcast, featured on the Daily Face-Off. They record every day at 9 a.m. Morning Cup of Hockey. You can find them on YouTube and pretty much wherever you get your podcast. They do a live show every day at 9 a.m. And I watch them a lot too. Lazzy and Colby Cohen, they're absolute beauties. So, any final thoughts from you, Hurls, before we get out of here?
Yeah, super excited. Obviously, first time in 17 years winning the division. Really, really great accomplishment, especially from where they started this season. And before we get into the playoffs and talk more about it, just looking forward to seeing some guys rest tomorrow night, seeing some other guys get a chance that normally don't, and the final home game, fan appreciation night, which has a different meaning this year for sure, knowing that it's a different type of meaningless game. I think it's going to be a great atmosphere. It'll probably be sold out, and yeah, super fun. Headed back Friday night. I'll be back in town Saturday morning, and can't wait to see everybody for the playoffs. Let's get after it.
Yeah, I'm excited too. I can't wait to pregame with everybody out at Party in the Plaza. That's going to be a blast. I mean, is it Party in the Plaza or is it technically Party at Canal Side?
Sabres Block Party, something like that. I don't know. I'm not sure what they branded it as.
I don't know. So I feel about that. I mean, I guess I don't know. But yeah, excited to get out there. Excited to hang out with you when you come back, and excited for the Fatty Wash Party. There's so much cool stuff to come in the next 2 weeks, man. And we deserve it. We went through hell and back to get this, for lack of a better way of saying it, a 17-year playoff drought right into a 14-year playoff drought between the Bills and the Sabres. I said it last night. I wholeheartedly mean it. There isn't a more passionate fan base than the Buffalo fan base, whether they're supporting the Bills, the Sabres. I mean, this city sells out for an indoor lacrosse team and the Bandits, even the Bisons, man. When the Bisons are good, that ballpark gets full. So nobody supports their teams like the Buffalo fan base. And I will put this city and these people up against any city and fan base in the world, straight up. And there's nobody more passionate, in my opinion. So with that being said, guys, thank you again for hopping on with us. I know it kind of impromptu episode. It's been a minute since we've done an actual episode of Two Goalies, One Mic. And I appreciate you guys all dropping in. Honorable mention Ralph Kruger playing Brandon Montour on the wing in 2018. And Ron Rolston obsessed with drinking bottled water during press conferences. I didn't know that was one, but we'll talk to you guys later. And as always, go Sabres.